to be my Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 speedrun analysis of my 25 minutes and 57 seconds. The reason I'm doing so is for actually many reasons. This is one of the games that I started speedrunning back then, about almost 8 years ago now that I've started doing this speedrun. Although the route was a little bit different, there was definitely different stuff happening there where we were actually playing on the good side. And throughout the years, it's been discovered that the Darth side was actually the faster way of completing the game. And therefore, I wanted to challenge myself in this category, and my main goal was actually to reach the 25 minutes mark, which I've just gotten not so long ago. So I'll be going through my own run, letting you know exactly what's going on within the game and what was going on through my mind at the time, and you know, see exactly where were the mistakes, where I could have done some improvements, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it as much as I want. So let's dive in, and I'll start with not exactly the run itself, but before we start, I'm going to explain to you a couple of different stuff as well on the decisions I've made, what you see on the screen, so like you have every information that you need to continue with this video. So let's dive in. Alright, here we are. So first thing to note is that this speedrun wasn't done on my Twitch account, it was done offline. The reason so is that you might have noticed that my last video that I had on my YouTube was a 26 minute 34 seconds, I believe. I don't recall exactly the exact number, but since then I've improved my time down to 26 minutes and 04 seconds, which is exactly what you see right here. So if you see my mouse on the screen right now, this is my final best time that I had then before completing the run. So this is what it's showing right here. Apart from that, of course, you have the generic information. So you have the name of the game itself. You have the category of the speedrun, which is any percent, basically meaning that I have to complete the game as fast as possible, no matter the requirements or the route doing so. This is my number of attempts, which is 5,077 attempts. I am not kidding around. This is not a random number, it's really the amount of attempts that I've reset it throughout the entire process of the speedrunning. And going from 26 to 25 probably was half of that. I'm not kidding, I've been playing like crazy these days. Offline, of course. And the reason why it's so high is because most of the resets happen at the beginning of the game. So I would say maybe half the resets happen in the first level, and another 30% at least happens with the level 2. It's very hard to get past level 1 and level 2 at this type of level of speedrunning. But yeah, once it happens, then afterwards it's just a matter of not choking the run and perform well, which is what I've did. I think I've done a couple of mistakes here and there that I'm not exactly proud of, but I'll explain them throughout the run entirely, so that should be fun. So apart from that, you have the name of the splits right here. So it's basically the name of each level individually. You have Nar Shaddaa, Lost Disc, Sulon, and right here is like a separate line where from there you'll see that it's going to scroll down until we arrive at Jerec. So this is not the second to last split. You'll see that it's going to update us as soon as we go through the run, so that, if that makes sense. Here is the best time I've ever gotten for each split. So it's 2 minutes 33 seconds is my personal best / world record, I think, in this Versionsville level, and this is what I got in my PB. This one though is not doesn't exactly work the same way. You'll see that it's just going by additioning all the times together. So for example, if I had to have let's say 5 and 24 here, let's add about 44 seconds and it should give you something approximate to that. I know it's a bit weirdly explained, but this is how it works. It's just a way for me to be able to follow my own run in real time to see if I have a potential for for the 25. And one thing that's really amazing with that is that with this tool called Live Split, there is also an option here that you can select, which is best possible time. So this calculates in real time what is the best possible time you can have anywhere in the run. So what it does actually is that at first it shows my sum of best. So this is the best time I could have gotten for if I were perfect in my own way in every splits and manageable, which is pretty funny because it's still 4 seconds under world record. What I mean by that is that world record is right now is 4 seconds faster than my sum of best, which is crazy, right? Like my time is not even close to world record, but I can tell it's definitely one of the hardest speedruns I've ever done. It's very tiring. It takes a lot on you. I had a lot of moments where I wanted to quit, and where it made me sad, it made me angry. I was wondering why I wasn't able to make it work, because like there's a lot of it which is crazy performance from you, and also a lot of luck factor, the RNG, random number generation, which can kill your run most of the time. So it's all of that included. It was one hell of a journey, to be fair. I wasn't sure if I was going to get a 25, but I got it, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's not, in my opinion, it's not exactly the best 25, but I think with that I'll be done with the category for sure. I think it's a good goal that I've set myself and that I've reached, so I'll stick with it. Right under it, you'll notice that it's my keyboard, so it's going to show my inputs in real time. It's not an exact science though. The application doesn't work exactly as I would like. You'll see here, this is the direction that I'm aiming with my mouse. It's not exactly perfect, but it should show you approximately what I was doing in real time. Same for the middle button or any button whatsoever. So if let's say you hold a button, it doesn't show exactly here that you hold the button itself. It's gonna show it for maybe 1 second, and then it's not gonna show it anymore, even though I'm still pressing on it, which is kind of weird. And you'll also notice that it's not exactly configured as a real keyboard. It's like the layout is a bit weird. It's me that's done the layout like that, because these are all the buttons that I'm using in real time for the run. Although I'm not physically pressing them on my keyboard, all of them. What I mean by that is that the 8th and some other not characters, but some other key numbers are actually pressed from my mouse itself. So I'm not sure if you can see, but there's my mouse right here, and there's like a multiple buttons on the side, and I use at least 3 or 4 of them during the run in order to have, it's not shortcuts, it's just that they are mapped to singular keys, just making sure it's not a combination of keys, it's just singular keys. So let's say one of them is doing the 8th, which is giving me the sequencers. One of them is the camera, so what it does is that it's pressing the F1 button for me, and I believe the other one is a button for enter here. So you'll see me, especially when it comes down to quick saving and quick loading, you have to be really fast during menus, because it's like as soon as you mess up, you want to restart as soon as possible, right? So what I do is that I go to a certain place where I click on loading, and then right afterwards I press enter on my mouse. So I go click like that, and it instantly goes back to the game that way. So one more thing that I'd like to put a precision on is that the game will be in French. It has nothing to do with the speed of the game. It's just my personal preference. I grew up playing this game in French where I live, so it just, I'm used to the dialogue, I'm used to the way the game looks with the text and everything. It doesn't benefit me in any way, it's just for the fun of it. So you'll notice sometimes that the dialogue can be can feel a bit weird, but it's part of the charm, right? So I think with that we have everything we need to start the run. So I'm gonna show you right now. I think it's gonna take maybe about an hour or 2 maximum to explain, but we'll start right away. So first things first, before even starting the run, I'm doing a strat right here. So I'm gonna load a game, and what I'm doing right here is that I'm going to put my mouse approximately here, you know, at the top of this like sort of hill or whatever. The reason I'm doing so is that from there what I can do is that I can press enter from my mouse, as I previously explained. And what it does is that when your mouse is on a menu like that, and then you go into a game, or you know, like you're on a menu and then you're proceeding to the game, the next time that you're going to open the menu, this is where your mouse will be. So it registers the last place that you put your mouse, basically. And the reason why I'm putting it there is because it's right over the load option. So let's say I mess up in the first levels. I don't have to, when I open the menu, I don't have to drag my mouse directly to the load section. I can simply just right click on the loading, not the loading, but on the loading option instantly, and then charge it up. It's just like, it's so subtle, you know. The reason I started doing so was like a couple of weeks ago. I noticed that this was going to happen, and believe it or not, it saves me sometimes a second or two for doing so. So I think it's a pretty smart way to start your run is by putting your mouse right there and starting right away. So basically I recommend everyone to do that if they're able to. So let's start with this run. So very precise movement right here, if you notice. Oops, sorry, my bad. So what happens here? I wonder if I can frame advance here. That would be very practical. Let me see. This probably should have been something I thought beforehand, right? But basically, the way the game works is that as soon as you touch a wall or anything really, like an enemy or whatever, it slows your momentum. So you lose a bunch of speed and you have to build it back, right? So the optimal strategy first is to strafe, because if you strafe with your character, you combine the speed of going forward and left or right at the same time, and this is of course generally considered faster. And you'll notice at the beginning here that I'm doing my best to not touch any wall here. So you'll see me reset a lot there, because sometimes I'll hit a wall and then I'll have to restart. The reason is because I want to have the most speed as possible when I enter this door right here, and I jump over this sort of staircase. And what it does, it gives me like a quick boost so I can get up right there and attack the enemy right afterwards, so I can go right behind it and continue my run. Most of the time here, what I'm gonna do is listen to the music to see what my pace is. If I, like, let's say if I hear an extra note, I see that my pace is not going very well, so I'll just reset most of the time actually. In this case, if you hear the music, like if you hear the dun 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 and you shoot on the dun, normally should be good enough. Sometimes I succeed to shoot before that, but if I shoot exactly on the same note, for me it's good to go, right? So that's what I'm doing right here. Here, the RNG starts to mess around with you. So the enemies, how they work, it's so weird. They spawn in the same place, but the way they look can be random. Meaning that if they were, let's say, looking back or whatnot, you know, they were looking a certain direction and they don't see you right away, they will stick in place and stay that way. But if they see you, there's a good chance that they can take action by shooting at you. And if they shoot at you, there's a chance that it misses, but there is a chance also that it hits you. And when it hits you, there's also a chance that it does recoil damage. What I mean by that is that if I'm unlucky, which happens a lot, they can start by looking straight at you, shoot you in the face, and have recoil, and that's instant reset. Funny. So basically you'll see me reset a lot there because of that. Because if they shoot me with recoil, the amount of speed that I lose is so high. It shuts down your momentum. Especially when there's two enemies like that, because they can actually both shoot at you and have a chance to do recoil. And if that happens, you know, it's over, right? But the way I'm doing it right here is that I try to expect to not get recoil, because I'm jumping in a certain way that I expect the enemy to advance to me so I can jump over them like so. And from there, I have to reach the first secret of the game, because as you might not know, you gather forces in this game, and to gather forces faster, you generally get to the secret areas in the game. And the faster you get those forces, the faster you get in the game, because you have force speed and force jump, which helps you tremendously throughout the run. So that's how it works, right? So from there, once again, very precise jumps that I'm doing, landing exactly on the platform here. Once again, right here. And here there's our timing to jump inside that little hole right here, because the game's hitbox and dimensions are pretty wacky sometimes, so landing right in the middle can be quite finicky, which I'm doing right here. Same for the vent, which sometimes can block you. And here the enemies, the placement that they are right now, once again I said it's all RNG, the way they move and whatnot, right? So sometimes there's no enemy at all, sometimes there's like a super big party, so like everyone is like in the middle, and then there's like no way for you to jump over it, there's no way to like maneuver around, and if you get slowed down too much, then once again it's another reset. So we continue right here. This bridge is quite precise to maneuver around, so when you turn around right here, you don't want to touch any walls, you want to turn super fast, and then from there you would want to jump on the other side here. I've missed the mark just a little bit, but normally you would want to jump a little bit more left than that, and to be more precise. But it's not too bad, because from there I was able to turn around and arrive at the elevator at around 21 seconds, which is pretty good. 20 seconds is the most optimal way to arrive to the elevator, but 21 is, I'll take it, you know. From there, once again, a luck factor can arrive. This guy right here that just shot me sometimes can be inside of that door that you see right here, and if he is, it's reset, because he blocks the entire way. So there, making sure that I don't touch any wall. Precise jump over the guy right here, open the door, and then I arrive with a switch right here. So while the elevator is going down, what I'm gonna do is kill the most enemies as possible. And normally there's a guy right there. Sometimes he falls down, so he's easy to kill, and sometimes he appears there, so you can kill it from there. But unfortunately, none of that happens. So what that means is that when I'll get to the secret later on, I don't have a lot of time to get back to the elevator, and that guy is still going to be there, and there's a good chance that he's going to block me. So that can be quite scary, especially for beginners there. Once you get the hang of it, though, it's just like, it's a hassle. You can still make it, but you got to be careful, right? Same here. There's a guy in my way. I almost fell off the bridge, and then I jump right here for the elevator, and then we're gonna get another secret right here, which is the second one, with a quick jump. Here it's normally I can jump in the hole, but I missed it barely, which is not that bad. Getting the switch at 55 seconds here is pretty optimal still. So I'll go back down to another secret level, and as I said earlier, there's this guy right here waiting, and he's right where I don't want him to be, which is where back to tank is. Back to tank is what is used later on in the game to simply use on the spot to gain 30 health, and it's not that I especially need it, it's just that when I have it, it's just like a safety net, right? So I'd rather have it than not. So from there I go down, and I make time just in time for the elevator. As you've noticed, like, it started right now, so I have to double jump to get it. Once again, making sure that I don't touch any wall, getting to the switch as fast as possible because I want another elevator to go down. And while the elevator goes down, I'm trying to kill the madam and the robot as fast as possible, so because sometimes they can drop good stuff like back to tank and ammunition. So making use of the fact that I can jump through the ledge right here, so it's a bit faster. Really good movement here for the switch. You want to get to the switch as fast as possible, right? And afterwards you kill the enemies. Because once an elevator is activated, you can simply do whatever you want until it arrives, so it's always better to go for the switch first. I was lucky right here, I was able to jump over the enemy, which doesn't happen all the time, you know? And here is going to be really funny, by the way. There's a bridge I got to jump on, which has a bunch of holes in it. And the reason I'm doing so is because I have to go to a secret area afterwards, but there's a chance that an enemy is standing exactly where I normally jump, and if that happens, most of the time I fall down and it's a reset. In this case, the enemy was actually right there, which is completely random, by the way. It was just the game telling me to frig off, basically. But I got lucky. I saw that happening, and look at me, look at where I am. I got so lucky. But I was still able to get what I want. And from there I got a back to tank as well, which was pretty neat. Right there I want to jump in the little hole right here, and I'm gonna need to activate a switch up there, and the thing is that these guys can be in the way. So ideally I would want to kill at least one of them, which is what I'm doing right here. I'm at least killing one of them. From there shoot so they can move out of the way. There can be it can be dumb there what can happen actually, because they have a chance, like a high chance of just getting where the switch is, and if they are, I cannot push them, so I have to kill them and then afterward press on the switch, which can be quite bothersome. In that case I was able to get to the switch easily, but that guy was blocking the way. That happens rarely though, but I noticed that he wasn't entirely in the middle of the door, so I was like, let's try to jump over him. And that worked, hopefully. Normally there's a way to land on the top of the platform. It's quite hard to do. Your position has to be quite good, but I missed it barely, so I had to jump over it again. Now going down, making sure that I get the thermal detonators here, which are going to be used in the next level. Going down, making sure I don't run into enemies, and normally here I try to walk down the left and then jump into a vent, but unfortunately I didn't go exactly in a walking phase. I went a little bit over and I jumped out. I was like, oh man, I missed the hole, and then I landed on a guy which pushed me in the hole. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's pretty funny. So 37 for the first level, which is fine. Like to be fair, I've done worse. There's as you can see, my best, like I'm plus 4 seconds on my best, but still minus 1.3 on my PB. So I'll be glad with a 237 for sure. So dropping down, getting this disc, and continuing. Level 2 is actually quite impressive when done properly. Jumping here so that I can fall down where the guy were there. Like it gives you a good momentum, right? Here I jump over the ledge, making sure that I get the thermal detonators and the shield that I need, because as you notice right now my shield count is at 200, which is ideal for what's coming up, because I'm going to explode myself a couple of times, and having high shield can definitely help with surviving those explosive jumps. Something around here, making sure that I don't get hit as much as possible, jumping over him. Trying to maneuver here in order to get there as fast as possible. It wasn't much ideal, but whatever. Those pigs, man. Those pigs kill my run not most of the time, but a bunch of time they did. And it's not because I'm doing something wrong, it's because sometimes they can react in a different way that they're supposed to be. This guy on the right sometimes can go up instead of down while following you for no reason. So you gotta make sure that sometimes you just slow down a bit. Not too much, but like at least in a way that they have time to get in their position and really do what they were supposed to do, instead of, you know, messing up with your route. So what happens here is that I jump over him, and then you'll see me wait just a little bit, and from there I can see where the pigs are. Sometimes they can be a bit lower, sometimes they can be a bit higher, but that will help me decide exactly when I need to jump, because that jump is kind of precise. So I'll jump right over them there, and I'm gonna go straight into the door. That time it went pretty good. It can be quite bad sometimes. From there I'll go over there. Normally, like if I was to miss shield, I would get those right here, but I didn't need to, which is nice. So killing that guy, killing the other guy, and one thing that I do right here is that this guy, every speedrunner of this game shoots that guy. But I'm the only one that takes a little bit of time just in case he drops a thermal detonator belt. Because if he does, that's 3 thermal detonators that you can get easily from him. And that means that later on, there's a thermal detonator belt that you don't need to get because of that. And you save a bit of time. Which is exactly what happens right here. I notice that he drops the belt, so I go straight for it. Which is worth, in my opinion. From there I kill this guy. You're not supposed to. I just do it because I don't want my shield to go down, and it's a bit safer, I guess. And now we're gonna do our first explosive jump. So we do an alternate throw. So there's like a main fire and a secondary fire on every weapon in this game. For the nades, how it works is that the main fire throws a grenade and explodes instantly as it touches the ground, and the secondary one is on a timer. So you use both. The secondary with the timer, you basically wait for it to explode, and while it explodes you throw yourself a nade at the same time, so it gives you a quick boost in the air so that you can reach platform areas easier, which is exactly what I'm doing right here. Although I think I've messed up the first time, I have done it on the second attempt, and then you'll see how many actually use the quick load for the first time. You might see, by the way, I forgot to explain to you, but you see partie sauvegardée here, which basically means quick save. So as soon as you see that, you can consider it being a quick save, meaning that as soon as I load state, it's going to load that save that I just did, which is basically done by pressing on the shift button here, for me at least. So I missed the timing for the first one, and then the second one I did it. So with that I skip a bunch of the level by going straight up. And from there, instead of using a key to open the door, I go straight into the window and activate the door from there, and then I can simply go out and be back on my way. This guy I shoot because sometimes he can shoot grenades at me. Here sometimes there's a guy, and the guy, I'm not sure why, but he wasn't there that time, meaning that he was probably on the other side. So you'll see me just shoot him right here. It's not necessary, it's just, once again, I want to have the most shield as possible. And with that right here, I have maximum shield, which is ideal for me. So from there, it's, in my opinion, the hardest jump in the game. Or maybe, probably the hardest strat. This jump is so, it doesn't feel constant, in my opinion. It's not easy to do. There's multiple ways of doing it, but this is my way of doing it. I just line in the corner and turn a certain way with a certain setup in order to reach the gap. And from there I can simply use a grenade and jump on this sort of invisible platform. Like there's like a couple of pixels where you can land on and jump from in order to continue. And I was quite lucky to get it on the first try too. Like I've been grinding it to make sure that I get it as much as possible, but you know, it's never guaranteed for sure. So right now what I have is that you see that I have 127 shield here with 12 thermal detonators, which is very ideal for what I'm about to do afterwards. So I don't need to get those. There was like a shield and a health box that I don't need to get, so that's pretty cool. And from there here, well, first I got shot, which is not that bad because my shield was already very high. So right now I'm at 117, which is good. To be fair, it's a good amount of shield, so I could continue with that. Normally under here, as you can see, like there's like a section right here where you can get another thermal detonator belt. If I didn't have a thermal detonator belt before that, before then I would have gone there to get another one. But since I did, I don't need to go down there. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna use of the fact that this elevator is going down right here, which is on a sort of a random timer. And I was kind of lucky that at least one of them came down exactly at the same time. So I was able to catch it exactly right here. And you don't actually need the elevator to go up. You can simply just walk on the sides like this here or this here, and you should be able to go up without any problem. And what you heard right there is me using a back test, so I went from about 70 something health to 100, which is necessary for the upcoming trick that's going to happen. So from there, there is a big setup to make sure that it works. It's very precise, very hard, and you have to be very fast to make it sure it works. If you're not fast, you're gonna miss the elevator for sure. What I mean by that is that you'll see me jump down right here, and I'm gonna aim for the platform right here. As soon as I see that I've lined up perfectly, I'll switch camera mode, which is new by the way. I've started doing that like maybe 2 weeks ago. And with that, I'm gonna charge a secondary fire of the thermal detonator in order to throw the detonator at a certain speed and a certain height, so that it bounces on the wall in the back right here, and so I can explode myself, jump up, and then explode myself once again in order to reach an elevator that's approximately right there. So it all goes really fast. So from there, what I do is that I use the first camera in order to line up the crosshair right here with approximately what I'm doing right now. It's a little bit more on the right, but it still works. And from there, I throw it. And in order to get hit by that nade, you have no choice but to load your save again, or else it doesn't work. Which is what I'm doing right here. So I'm loading my save, and then I'm setting up myself so that I can explode myself exactly as it bounces back up. Because the nade, when it is on the ground, it is too low to hit you, which is the reason why it has to bounce. At least in my experience. There's a lot of people that sometimes do it, you know, from the, like they throw the nade and it rolls on the ground, and what they do to get hit by it is actually pressing crouch. But I've tried a tactic and it doesn't work for me. This tactic basically is this trick, I mean, is every runner does it differently. So this is my way of doing it, which is kind of consistent, but it can still sometimes fails on me. And that's exactly what happens here. I've messed up so much this part, you'll see. So first I messed up right here. I'll try it again, and I think I get it on the third try. There you go. So as soon as I land here, I don't have much time. I have to go straight up right here, amass as much shield as possible, because as you can see, my health right now is pretty low. So if I was to explode myself again with that amount of health, I would surely die. So right here, I try to get as much shield as possible, but I missed one. And because of that, I'm going to die from my explosion. So I quick load really quick, get all the shields possible, and try for it again, because right here I have to align myself with the middle in a very precise way. And nade jumping from there, I have to go on the platform on the right and then jump on the left. I will miss it once again, I believe, but on the third try I'll succeed, and you'll see the difference. So right here I missed it because I was in the middle, but I didn't move myself on the right the proper time. And you saw that the elevator actually was right there, and it just went up instantly, which puts emphasis on the fact that this whole trick is very time dependent and very fast, so you have to be careful. And then try a third time, explode myself, go on the right, and then go on the left, and then from there I can continue. By the way, these elevators are on an exact time loop, so the reason why I'm saying you don't have much time is because we all know that once you reach a certain point in the level, then the cycle starts, and then you can continue with the run and make sure that you arrive on time on the platform, which is, the timing is really tight. So right now it was not my best level 2 for sure because of all of this, but I've seen that I reached the elevator before 5 minutes mark, which is not that bad, so I decided to continue anyway. And with that, level 2 is over, and we enter Sulon, the level 3. Very straightforward, that level. There's a quick skip that you can do right here with a precise jump, where you jump over here and you reach the other side instead of falling down. And there's another one right here where you crouch a little bit, go into the window and jump over it. So it skips a bunch of the level where you have to get like keys and levers, I think, or something like that. So pretty neat. Kill that guy. I try to kill both guys here, walking forward because you could strafe here, but I'm not very good at it, so I just go forward myself. Here I try to jump. You'll see my shield. I try to have it like at least over 100 shield because if I'm under 100 shield, then a couple of tricks that comes afterwards I won't be able to do because I won't have enough health. So I gotta be careful on that. And my shield right now is at 109, which is pretty low, but I can still do my trick. So there's one right here where I do a bomb jump, which skips the whole puzzle that you have in this room. And then there's another nade that you have to throw right here. And I'm not sure what exactly happened there. Maybe it was stress or whatever, but I missed it. And I hit this left side of the wall right here by accident, so I fell into the ground. Or in the lava, I should say. So I repeated it once again, and you'll see me just land on it right here, jump again. And because of my timing, normally I had time to jump again more on the right, but I've seen that my timing wasn't as precise as I would have loved to. So I just kept going on the left here, and then go up here. So as you see, my health is pretty low right now at 8th. As soon as we reach this room, it says l'atelier de mon père, or you know, whatever he's talking about. Basically, there's a trigger in the level that says, alright, the level is over, you can simply do whatever you want, and it's going to cut off to the next level really soon. So in the meantime, what we do is that you can simply go back right here and get a couple of different items here. So you have this one is more shield and more cell power, so it can be useful sometimes. And here is going to be our first point spent into force speed. So force speed, or every power in this game basically has 4 levels, which of course is better the more and more you use it. And at the end we're gonna have the max force speed and the max force jump, which is going to get really crazy. But for now we only have 1 point, so we're going to spend it just once in force speed. By the way, now we got the lightsaber, by the way, from the level before. You see right here, it's not very obvious, right? But these 3 red lines represent ammos. Right now it's 3 lines, right? So because I have a lightsaber, basically you don't have any ammo, right? But right under it, it's very subtle, but there's like a couple of red pixels, or red dots, I would say. These represents your cell power, which is going to gradually get better every level that you do in the run. But especially in the first levels, it becomes a resource management, because you cannot use force speed anytime you want, because at some point you would lack for power cells, right? Or just power level, whatever. So there's a route that we decided to do, which basically makes sure that we use them the most optimally as possible, right? So you won't see me do it all the time, but I'll do it exactly at specific moments where I'll be able to accumulate it and use them at, like, you know, the parts where it matters the most, basically. So we continue. We get on right here, we use force speed. There's a way right here to jump. I use thermal detonators to give myself just a little boost so I can get to that top platform right here, which skips a section of the game. Go down right here. So force speed, it's only level 1, so it's already over, right? And you can already see here that my my power cells it's pretty low still, so we'll need to accumulate more before using it again. So killing that guy right here. I try to get that health box and shield whenever possible, but like if I miss them, I'll just continue my way. It's not that big of a deal. Trying to go under it, you have to crouch in a certain way, but I think I've hit the side of it a little bit, so it wasn't very optimal, but I guess it's not too bad. We'll continue. Here's the lightsaber here because I want to jump right here, and we cannot see it much here, but there's a waterfall going down the hole right here, but there's a part of the hole which doesn't have a waterfall, and if you fall in it, you actually fall faster in the air than in the waterfall itself. So I try to aim for the left side of the hole as much as possible. which I did a little bit, but then again afterwards I fall into the waterfall, so I would say that this attempt was decent, I guess. We use another 4-speed, kind of precise jump I have to do right here in order to land in the hole and not bunk myself in the wall. It was pretty decent, that attempt. And then I go down right here from the left because it gives me a better boost afterwards when I go down the waterfall. And we go down here. I do a slight jump here to go faster. When you land in a body of water, there's sort of a precise timing in order to jump while landing. So if you land, you can jump straight afterwards. But this is, in most levels, this is sort of random if it works or not, at least in my experience. In that case, it didn't work. So I had to go up the water and then continue my way, which is what I did. Side jump right here. I don't know if you noticed right here what happened, but he shot me in the air and I recoiled from it. So I almost failed and it almost killed the run right there. Nice game. Killing that guy, just making sure he doesn't get in my way. Using the 4-speed right there. And continue my way with sort of precise jump right here, making sure that I don't touch anything. We use the power of the waterfall to give us a slight boost of speed by jumping in it. But the sort of bat, whatever, came in my way at the same time, so it slowed down my momentum a bit. And now we're gonna do one pretty precise jump actually. This one is going to skip a bunch of the puzzle that's going up afterwards, where I'm gonna use a combination of 4-speed and a thermal detonator in order to reach a certain part of a bridge. And that jump can be quite precise, so you'll see me like maybe take a half a second to make sure I have the right line and then go for it. So what I do is that I amass those right here and I make sure that the guy that you've seen on the right, you know, this one right here, doesn't get in my way, because sometimes he can be right there and completely cancel my momentum of speed. So I make sure that he's not in the way before attempting my jump, which is what I do right here, and I succeed on the first try. And there's a guy right there that almost killed my run as well, because I go right in him, and as you can see, I'm so close of falling, but I've noticed really fast that he was doing that, so I adjusted myself at the last second. I got a shot right there, so right now I would notice when my health and shield counter is, because later on I'm gonna try to boost myself a couple of times, and especially at the end of the level, there's a part where I have to kill myself in order to reach a checkpoint. And I'll explain that later, but basically I need to be wary of the health counter right here. Normally I can jump a bit faster than that here, but I kind of messed up with a waterfall. Sometimes it can be quite finicky, so not too mad about that one. Also check my thermal detonator counter, because I gotta make sure that I conserve at least 4 until the end of the level. So what I did right here as well is I activated the elevator, and then when I went back to this guy, because this guy has it says arbalète laser here, but basically what it means, it's how's it called? I don't remember, but there's a gun that you're basically going to use in the next level, and if you don't have it, it's just, you know, it's a bummer, right? So there you go. So whenever possible, if I was to go inside an entrance or whatever, and that going to the inside of that entrance requires me to crouch to go in there faster, then you'll see me try to go for it, which is what I'm doing right here. So just the fact that I'm crouching, as soon as I advance, then I release the crouch and I continue. It's a little bit faster. Right here, good timing here with the jump. As I said earlier, once you land a pool of water, then you can simply jump straight afterwards if you're lucky enough, I would say. From there I use 4-speed again. I noticed my shield is low enough, but I could use some boost, and since I have a lot of thermal detonators right now, I can simply just give myself 2 boosts right there in order to continue my way. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm doing 1 boost, 2 boosts, and it's in my health right now is pretty low. It's at 25. It's a bit risky, but it pays off. It goes well, and there's at 25 it's not that bad. I open that other door right here, and I'm going to set up myself on that door because what I'm going to do is that I'm going to throw a 2 secondary fire thermal detonator in the back and 1 in my face. So it's going to kill me, and my body is going to be pushed by my thermal detonators that I put behind myself, and so my dead body is going to be on the other side of the door because it clipped it because I was dead. And by being on the other side of the door, it activates a cutscene in the background, and by the end of that cutscene, it goes to the next level. So it's basically using your dead body to finish a level, instead of using, you know, the normal way of opening the door, which I believe is like using a switch or something. And the switch is like in a different part of the level, so yeah. Also, as you notice, it's quite glitchy right here. It's completely normal. It's how the game behaves during those moments. You'll notice games like Doom or maybe Quake work in the same way, I guess, if you go out of bounds. So right now it doesn't look like it, but there's a cutscene playing in the background. As soon as it's finished, it's going to ask me to finish the level and put more points in force, which is what I'm going to do, by the way. I'm going to put 2 more points in force speed right here. And off we go to Baron's Head. So now that I have the gun that I was talking about earlier, what I'm going to do with that gun is shoot it right here. Because you might have noticed there's a guy right there. And by shooting it where I'm shooting, there's a chance that it's going to attract the guy. And he's going to be on the other side of my entrance right here. Because what I'm going to do is go inside that door right here. And from there go around and go right here where there's the door. So if the guy is like behind the door right here, he's not going to be in my way to continue my path. Or else I would have to kill him, and it's costing me about maybe a second or 2 or whatever. So it's always best to try it, which is what I'm doing right now. And then I get my sword, I try to kill as much possible, and in that case, I noticed that the guy was still there. I was quite unlucky because he was actually way further than usual, so I had to kill him manually there. And I also activated the force speed a little bit earlier than usual, which is going to cost me actually at the end of the level. I'm going to explain that a little bit later. So from there, what I normally do is that I would jump from here to the platform over there. But I was a bit too close to the wall, so I messed up. So I had to jump back right there. So once again, there's a huge puzzle in this town, but you can simply skip it by doing a thermal jump here. And then there's a precise jump that you have to do right here to jump over the wall. And unfortunately, as I said earlier, I used force speed a little bit too early. So right there I had no force speed, and I couldn't use any more because I have no power cells left. So it was very slow to reach the end, which is right there. I was so mad. I wasn't mad, but just I threw a thermal detonator because I was like, damn it. And just that mistake cost me about 4 seconds, as you can see right there. Alright, so there's a shroud right here where if you align yourself and strafe your way without touching any wall, you can actually time a really precise jump right here in sort of a window to reach the top floor and just continue from there, which saves you about maybe 4 or 5 seconds. I don't do that. At least by trying to get 25, it's just useless trying to go for it because most of the time I don't get it, and then I just fall down and I have to go through that door, so I would waste time anyway. So I just don't go for it. So trying to get use of the force speed as much as possible, which is what I'm doing right here. Getting the sequencers right there, which are going to be used not way later in the game actually. We're going to use them in the level 8 Palace Escape, which is this one right here. So getting them is pretty much a requisite. So we go down right here, once again to another secret section. But this one is going actually to give us a protection armor, which is giving us a lot of shield, as you can see right here. So now our shield is at max level. Even though our health is at 93, it's not that bad. But as long as my shield is at 200, that's what's important. Because when I go right there, I try to not get shot by this guy, because if I do, there is a jump later on that I can do, but it's a bit hard to pull off because of the health and whatnot, you know. And now we go with the railgun jumps. And the way the railgun jump work is that it's going to give you a boost, and it's going to be different depending on the frame that you jump while you do the shot. So basically, if you want like the perfect boost, you would press the jump button and the shoot button at the same time, which it happens to be the left and the right click on my mouse. Although, if your health is too low and you need to conserve a bit more health or shield, you can always try to press jump maybe a frame or two before doing the shoot. And with that, you're not going to go as upwards as you would normally do, but you will lose less shield. So depending on the health and shield that you have in real time, you will have to adjust your timings on the railgun jumps by a couple of frames, if that makes sense. And that is going to show up a little bit more in the following levels. So right now, since my shield is at maximum, I'll simply just press both buttons at the same time, which is what I'm doing right here. Right here we have a sort of precise jump, making sure that I don't hit the wall and that I land on the other side of the platform right there. There you go. And now I need to reach the door right here, and that's what I explained it a little bit earlier. You could press both buttons at the same time to reach it easily, but I like to jump maybe a frame before so I can reach it and still have a bunch of health for afterwards, which is what I'm doing right here. This one is kind of precise what I did. I could have just done, like as I said, the easy one, but I just felt like I was able to do it, so I did it. And now I would press that switch, but I don't know why it took me so much time to press it. And then I jump on the other side before my force speed finishes. And from there, what we do in the community, actually, I stole that from the community, but the platform is going to go down, and I have to be very precise in the way of jumping over it, so I can reach a section over it, like a hole that I have to jump in, which is kind of precise. And what we do is that as soon as we see it go down with the door, we do a single stroke of lightsaber, and when the hand is going back that way, this is a sign for you to start jumping for your jump patterns, which is what I'm doing right now. And I've gotten the first try, which I'm pretty happy. So that guy right there is RNG, but as long as I get the protection armor and go down right here, I'm good to go. And what I'm going to do right here is that the button that I just pressed leads to an elevator that takes a lot of time to come down, and unfortunately there's no way to skip it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down right here, because you notice here my shield is at around 189. I want to conserve it as much as possible, and the reason is because afterwards I'm going to be using it in Palace Escape. So the most shield I have, the better for the railgun jumps and the sequencer jumps I'm going to do afterwards. And the reason why I'm slashing the wall right there is simply as a timing to know exactly when the elevator is going to go down, so I can enter it as fast as possible without getting shot by most people, which is what I'm doing right here. So it's at 5, I wait at 7 approximately at the end to move, which is what I'm doing right here. So right now they're trying to shoot me, I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible. The door opens exactly at the same time and the level is over. And what I'm doing right now is putting 3 force points into force jump. So we're gonna use that right afterwards. Yun is our first boss, I would say. Very easy to kill. So the second that we fire on your lightsaber does, like a double swing. 3 of them and you basically kill them. And the way it works is that when the level starts, it has maybe half the chance of force jumping on you. And if he does, you basically want to force jump to catch him in the air to slash him. So basically what you want to do is that once it starts, you immediately force jump. And if he doesn't, you simply restart the level until he does. And you hope to get lucky with that. So if I remember correctly, he doesn't do it on the first try. So I first jump, I see that he doesn't. I start the game back, he does, so I jump. and then I hit him. And then there's only 2 shots left, but unfortunately he behaved in a sort of weird way, so the second sword slash just didn't work. Then the second one worked, and finally the third one worked. And now my shield is at 140, but I ideally want full max shield, so what I'm gonna do is go in that secret door and try to get as much shield as possible before the level ends, which is what I'm doing. And now we're arriving at Palace Escape, which is probably one of my favorite levels. It's very crazy how it works. We're gonna skip most of the levels, so I'm gonna try to explain most tricks as much. So here, instead of going down the elevator, we're gonna force jump here, so I can slash the door upwards, and it's going to open the door right here, as you notice. And while I'm going down, I'm going to get a railgun because I want to boost myself up right here. And then force jump right there at a specific timing, so I can land approximately right there. Because what I'm gonna do is going to do a force jump plus a railgun boost over this wall right here. But one thing that's quite finicky about this jump is that there's going to be an invisible wall. So I do that jump right here, which with like a bunch of speed, a bunch of precision, and that there's like an invisible wall right here the entire way of the building. But there's no wall on this side, so you have to go around from the right and then go back on the left in order to land on it. And from there I'm going to go to a sort of precise spot. It's not as precise as long as you're lined up perfectly, not perfectly, but as long as you're lined up in a good way, it should be fine. And that you have enough space right here to maneuver, and I'll explain why afterwards. So basically right behind that hole there's this floor right there, and that floor triggers the ending of the level. So if you remember correctly, in level 4 we used our dead body to trigger a cutscene in order to finish the level, right? We're pretty much going to do the exact same thing here, but in a much more crazier way, where we use sequencers and a railgun to boost ourselves further. So we use all our sequencers right here. We use the secondary shot of the railgun, which puts something that doesn't work on timer, but it works on proximity. So it's a proximity mine, sort of. And then we trigger the proximity mine, and then we shot ourselves at the same time, which propels our body this way. But unfortunately I missed the first try, so I'm trying it again right here. And this time I'm going to succeed it. And the angle that you're going to aim is kind of precise as well, because you have to go through the wall and land on the platform on the other side. So right here, you'll see me. As long as my body is over that section, the gray section right here, it's fine. It's going to register that I finished the level. If I was to land right here, that wouldn't work. If I was to land right here, that wouldn't work. But if I was to land right here, it will work, because my body would go right here, right? So it would trigger the cutscene, but I would land approximately right there. But I believe I landed right here. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, there you go. And from there, there's my dead body that's triggering cutscene in the background. And this one is a pretty long cutscene. It's about 30 seconds. So we're gonna wait it. And once we'll be over with that cutscene, we're gonna have 2 more force points to spend, so we're gonna put maximum points in force speed and force jump and continue with that. So it's going to start in about a second. There you go. So first things first, once again skipping a bunch of the level by just jumping into that window right here, getting a key, because that key is going to open the door later on. Jumping in a precise maneuver here by opening that door right here using the key that we just got. And normally there's a big pause in this room where you have to gauge the level of the acid pool. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I think it's the nuclear energy, whatever. But so you have to maneuver the switches. You see, you know, there's like 2 there, right? There's one here, there's one there, there's like a couple of them down here, and you need to find the perfect combination in order to continue your way afterwards while pressing a lever to continue. But what the game doesn't tell you is that the only switch that you need to activate is this one right here. So that's what we do right now. We go down over here, we activate that switch, and basically from there I have to get right here because I need to get a pass in order to open the door. So as soon as I got that pass, I kill the guy right here, I go down, and this is the door that I want to activate. So I kill that guy right here. It's not necessary, just that most of the time he's in my way and I prefer to kill him and continue that way. I press the switch right here, and from there normally the door behind us would open, and I would continue from there and reach the section I need to achieve. But going inside that door to reach the section that we need is not necessary. So as long as we activate the switch right here, afterwards what we can simply do is just go around and jump in that hole right here, and we continue. So you notice right now that we're at max 4 speed, so it's getting pretty fast, man. So right here there's a 3 switch, and you have to activate one after the other in order to use the switch at the bottom of the this section right here. So using the first switch is going to take us a bunch of time before it really activates. Using the second one is going to take a medium amount of time, and the third one is going to be very fast. So it's basically slow, medium, fast, but you have to do it in order. So what we're going to do is that once we activate the first switch, we kill those guys and we amass a bunch of health and shield as much as possible. And then we activate the elevator because the elevator is going to go down, and we want to fall on it once it's completely down. It's going to save us a bunch of time. And you see right there, it's still not activated, or else the yellow would have disappeared. So we wait a bit until it disappears, and then we can activate the other switch and so on, you know. So this one I have to wait a little bit before it stops, and then we activate that one and we go down here in a certain way, which is kind of precise. I'm gonna go back right here. So you notice me, what I do is that I go inside the hole and I aim for the top right of the wall, because by doing so you're going to land in a certain way right here that doesn't kill you. If you were to fall in any other way, it would kill you, which is odd, right? But that is the trick that makes this possible. From there, I'll simply activate that switch, and this is going to open a sort of like a rotative door. You'll see what I mean by that later on. So while that opens, I have to wait a bit, so might as well get a bunch of health. And there's a back to tank right here that's kind of hard to get, so I try sometimes to have fun with it and just jump in it. So I'm having fun while we wait for the door to open, because what I'm going to do is that afterwards I want to close it right afterwards, and I'll explain to you why afterwards. So right now it's open. Now we've just closed it. The reason is because the door that you see right there, or any other doors whatsoever afterwards, in order to be open, the previous door needs to be closed. So each time I open the door, I need to close it back behind me. And also, being in the middle of the door is going to stop the door from opening. So you hear that, that means that you were inside of the door for a second, and during that time the door wasn't closing, it was waiting for you to go out. But you know, in that case I had no choice, right? And then from there I waited for the door to close, and then I used 4 speed, which is going to be used right there to open more doors. These go a bit faster, but I still need to wait a little bit right here before opening that one, or else it would have not opened. With some precise jump, the way that I'm moving as well is kind of precise. There, I made a little bit of a mistake. Normally I move in a different way so that I don't lose health, but I messed it up. Once again, I messed it up right here. Normally I cut it exactly the same time. It just didn't happen that time, and I was kind of not as precise as usual. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna kill that guy because he's gonna give us the concussion rifle, which is going to be used throughout the entire run. It's a really powerful weapon, and you'll notice right afterwards what I mean by that. It's basically the railgun jump, but even better. So I kill him to get the concussion rifle, and jump over here, jump, use the fast boost, and then we get the concussion rifle, because right there, instead of waiting for the elevator to go up, we explode ourselves, and what I do right there is that it is a frame perfect jump. So I need to hit the right frame, or else it wouldn't go as high as I would have left. and then we would miss the jump. So it's a very optimal jump that we have to do right here. Or you could, you know, if you want to be safe about it, you can simply just wait a little bit more, but I want to be clutch on it, which is what happened there. There you go. And from there we reach a really long elevator, and we don't want to wait that whole elevator up. So what we have right here is you know, the power cell that I explained a little bit early on, and that power cell is limited still because we're only at level 9. So we're gonna time ourselves in a very precise way where we're gonna use the maximum force jump and force speed that we can use in order to go as fast as possible inside this elevator. Because you'll notice actually that right now it's only walls, right? But at certain points there's going to be, you know, like these sort of like you're going to be able to see outside because of them, but these are like little platforms that you can stand on. So you're going to force jump over them as soon as you reach the end, and it's all very well timed. Because I want to be able to do the first concussion rifle force jump exactly at the moment that I want it. So what I'm going to do right here is count the vertical bars right here. So I'm going to count to 6, and then I'm going to jump soon afterwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I turn it around and I set myself so I can land exactly right here. As soon as I reach there, then I know that I'm on the right path in order to use the force as optimally as possible. And then we reach that here, and then we barely have enough for a 1 force speed. But then what I need to do is just a normal jump. There you go, and we've reached the top. Here we gotta make sure that we kill that guy, or else he's in the way. We crash a little bit right here, and we reach that platform right here, and that's the level over. Alright, so here, level 10, 88 reward. We killed that guy with a secondary fire from the concussion rifle. Here I try to do a couple of precise jump. I activate that switch right here, and normally what I would do is jump back and crouch into the staircase behind me in order to go down and come back to that section right here. But I think it's the first time that happens to me. One of the guards was behind me, so I got slowed down just a little bit, as you can notice right here. Sometimes that door is closed, sometimes it is open. It's random. If it's closed, it's not that big of a deal. You just open it and continue. If it's open, it's like, cool, let's go. Here, a way to open the door would be to kill that switch right here, right? But if you shoot a concussion rifle at the door, it destroys it for you right here, as you notice. So I can just shoot at the door and continue that way. You'll see me also use the concussion rifle in order to stop my momentum. So if I was going to go super fast and then shoot a concussion rifle, it helps me shut off my momentum so I can fall a little bit faster, which is what I'm doing right now. Getting stuck a bit in the door, getting stuck a little bit there. That was a bit that was a bit awkward. We continue that. I'm going to jump over that guy right here and then turn a certain way so that with my fall speed I can simply land exactly there. And then from there, I want to reach at the top platform here so that I can avoid getting a key and just doing the room puzzle over again. So I'm going to line myself and jump over there, and then I reach that section where I can just continue. From there I can get more railgun ammo and more shield because it's going to be used afterwards. From there you'll see me, I'll use force speed to try to get past a guard. Most of the time it works, but in this time the guard was in my way more than usual, so it was pretty bad. Now you have a switch right there and you have another one the other way. So you have to kill both in order to stop a fan in order to get in that section right here. And then I shoot another one approximately right there, which is going to kill the switch at the back. And from there I can simply just enter that vent. In here there's a room where normally you have to go around to open the door and then get a key and do everything you can in order to get down afterwards. But there's a way for you to just use force jump and a concussion rifle to give you momentum down into the hole right here to continue your way, which is what I'm doing. And from there you can shoot that gate. And sometimes here it's kind of rare, but it's finicky. It can kill you. because you're too fast and you aim it in a weird way. So it was just me. I think I was maybe not very good on that. So we'll just charge it again. Try to get over there. Not getting too fast once again, because if you do, you're going to basically kill yourself once again. And because of all of that, I lost a bunch of seconds, as you can see here. So it was not a very good 8088 for me. And now we have Pick and Gorc, which is absolutely the worst enemies of all time. I'm not especially good at the fight, and the way it works is that Pick is the little guy and Gorc is the big guy. Gorc takes 4 secondary hit, Lightsabers hit, and this one takes 3. But the way they act is so weird. They shield most of the attacks most of the time, at least in my experience. And this guy right here has a rare chance of disappearing, and the last runs I've done in the past week has been disappearing the whole time. And that's exactly what happens in this run as well. So as soon as I've seen him disappear, I was like, well, thank you, man. You just cost me a bunch of seconds, which is exactly what happened as well. And as soon as you kill them, you have to get the disc that's falling right there. So you have to do this pretty much as fast as possible. But I got unlucky, baby. RNG. Try to attack them. They block most of my shot. He disappears. I'm like, really? Alright, so I was able to hit him, but I have no clue right now where Pick is. So right now I hit him, and then I hit him a second time. So it wasn't that bad, but I still, you know, plus 8 seconds on that fight. That should tell you how much this fight sucks, you know? And then we arrive at 2 of my favorite levels. I believe it's Escape with the Map and Lost Planet of the Jedi. I love those levels to death, man. They were so fun to play. And I believe that Escape with the Map, I've performed basically perfectly in my standards. So it's quite a lot of technical things happening at the same time. Here there's a force jump with a concussion rifle arriving straight at the door right here. My tactic is to jump to that door and then be approximately the distance that I am right here with the angle that I have, so that I can jump straight into that bridge right here. Some people sometimes just jump in a way where they land here, but I prefer that way. I think it's a bit faster for me. And from there, there's a precise force jump that I need to do in order to land on that bridge. And then from there, another super precise concussion rifle force jump. And I don't have much time, because in that room, you actually gradually lose health. And if you wait too much, you're going to die. So you gotta be super fast about it. Which is what I'm doing right here. Landing on that bridge, very precise trick. Sometimes I go inside the thing that you just saw right there, the room. Just to line myself in a good way for the next force jump that's going to happen, which is right there. And then right there I line myself up in the wall, because I want to force jump and land on the top platform right here. And then I continue my way, and basically by landing exactly where I am right now, by opening the door, this triggers the end cutscene. So from there you can actually do whatever you want, and it's going to finish the level anyway in a couple of seconds. So what I like to do for fun is go back there and land on a vehicle or a spaceship and just have fun with it. You're not supposed to, it's just fun to do. And the level is over right now. Alright, so right now we're in Lost Planet of the Jedi. I believe that I've made a couple of mistakes there that definitely cost me like about, I think, 5 or 6 seconds. So it wasn't the best Lost Planet, but it was a pretty decent one, because I was able to do the last jump, so I'm kind of happy with that. And this is a very RNG based. Basically the enemies can just decide to shoot you or destroy you for no good reason, and with that you won't be able to do jumps at the end of the level, so that could cost you like 10 seconds or so. So it's pretty bad when it happens, but it didn't happen in this run. So from there I aligned myself with the line right here, because there's an invisible wall, but that's actually, like, the invisible wall stops approximately there, so if you jump over it, you'll be able to go over it like that. I kill those guys so they don't be in my way a little bit later on, because this level there's a force shield that blocks the entire way to complete the level afterwards. in order to disable that force shield, you need to destroy a couple of switches. I'm not exactly sure how to call it, but it's like there's like a couple of grids where you have to slash them, and as soon as you've completed, you've slashed them all, then the force field just disables. So that's what I'm doing right now. There's a faster way here to go down, where you jump in a way where you land in the window right here. I know how to do it. I've been practicing it. I'm just not as consistent with it, so I decided to not do it for the 25. Instead, I'm going to go up right here, missing my jump, destroying that switch right here, which is the first one. You see here there's like a counter, right? So it means that there's a 3 left. I think so. Yeah, I think there's 3 left basically. And I wasn't lucky because I went back and this guy was in my way, which is kind of rare when it happens, but I had to kill him. Then I go back right here, getting max shield and max backtab, which is needed for the force jump I'm going to do afterwards. Using a backtab because my health was so low. And here I saw those guys, I was like, man, I'm going to get sticky shot. Because here there's a good chance someone's going to sticky shot a railgun at you. And what that does is that it sticks to you and is going to explode in about like 2 to 3 seconds afterwards. And once you get exploded from that, basically you don't have enough health for most of the jumps that's going to happen afterwards. So it was a pretty scary moment for me. But I was able to kill them and use my force speed to go super fast right here. Destroying that grid right here, so 2 out of 4. Getting a bunch of railgun charges. It's optional, but I like to do it just in case. It's a bit more safe that way. Open the door right here, getting out. I see that my shield is at 163, which is pretty low actually. I would have loved to have it a little bit more, a little bit higher than that. Because for the last force jump, you basically need to be at least at 160, you know. So that doesn't leave much margin for the rest. Here I destroyed the once again another gate, and there's one last one that stays. And as you notice right here, I got shot once again, so I'm at 159, which is basically the limit of what you need in order to do the force jump at the end. So you'll see actually this is by far the luckiest lost planet of the Jedi I've ever had, and you'll see why afterwards. So I destroyed the... oh, sorry. I went back 10 seconds by accident, so we'll see that section again. So right here, I go inside the door here, destroy the last grid, and it opens the force shield that was previously right there. So you're able to continue. Force jump into the hole right here. Changing for the railgun because I'm going to use it. Using backtips to make sure that I have the most health as possible. Doing a force jump with the railgun right here so I can land on the bridge. Using a sticky rail jump on the door to disable the force field at exactly the same time that I enter it, so that this door right here that's going to close down is not going to hit me, as you've seen right there, or else I wouldn't be able to go out there if I wasn't as precise as that. Here I shoot for good measure because I don't want this guy to shoot me, so I'm being safe here. Activating the switch right here, switching to concussion rifle so I can do a force jump right here, and then another force jump right here for the elevator that went down. So I jumped on the elevator and then I jumped here, and there this is one of the luckiest thing I've ever had with the game. My health is so low, it's at 8. I could use a back to tank, but I'm so much in the moment that I don't think about it. And you'll see when I shoot that guy, there's another guy right here with a gun. He can easily 2-shot me in a second. So I activate the switch right here that I need to do, and while I activate it, you see my health 1. Another shot and I'm dead from anyone because there's other guys on the other side. So I activate force speed to get the heck out of there, and I go in the door, and then I explode myself for good measure because, you know, it's at that point doesn't matter because as soon as you're in the elevator, you're clear because the elevator closed down behind you and the level is over. That was super risky, but it paid off. And then from there, I have 4 force points to spend, but I'm only going to use 3, and I'm going to spend them in force throw. which is going to kill 2 bosses in the remaining of the run. The first one being Maw that I'm just doing right now. So there's a funny thing with those bosses where if you spam force throw with specific objects on them, you can actually spam it to hit multiple times, and that basically kills them. So in that case, we're going to slash that guy twice, and when that happens, when we slash him twice, normally he goes back inside that, you know, sort of tower. But before he does, we're going to actually use force throw to throw him a couple of stuff that lays around us. So you'll see, it's a pretty funny way to beat the boss. So first sword slash here. Then unfortunately he blocks my first sword slash, so I'll have to do it again. And then he goes back, and that's when we're gonna use force throw. So be ready. Wrecked. He got bopped so hard. And then with that we get 2 more force points that we're going to spend here in force lightning. So force lightning is going to be used for 1 boss and 1 enemy later in the game. And now we need to exit this spaceship, which is sort of in like a weird angle. So you'll see that the way that it works, like the controls are a bit awkward at that section, but basically you just need to reach the end as fast as possible. There's no enemies. You just need to be precise, I guess. It was fine. It wasn't my best one ever, but I pulled up a decent one. I guess the most important part here is that I need to activate the switch as fast as possible, and sometimes with the spaceship moving around, it can be quite finicky, but I was able to hit it straight out when I arrived, so it was pretty fun. One trick I could say as well is that normally right here there's this ship going down, and there's a bridge constructing here from the door on the other side. So normally, like in a casual playthrough, you would go to the other side and just use the bridge to reach the spaceship. But in our case, what we're going to do is just use force speed and jump into the ship, because you're going to reach you know, like the level ending area just by jumping in the ship. So that's what we're going to do. We need the spaceship to be at a certain height before the level completion the level completion area loads up. So that's why I'm waiting right here. I'm gonna wait for a specific time, like approximately right now. The ship has stopped. If I jump there, I reach the level complete screen. And then, since we've chosen the Darkside, instead of fighting the girl, I don't remember her name, but instead of fighting her, we are fighting Yoon once again, which is much weaker, to be honest. So the fight is way faster. Sometimes, as I said earlier, Yoon loves sometimes to force jump at the beginning, which is exactly what's happening here, I think. Yep. So when he does, it's a bit bothering, because it's like a second or two of loss from the start. And from there, what I would do is I will spam the force lightning button. So my first lightning button is B. So I would spam it in order to use it as much as possible to kill him, while using my sword to kill him. So sometimes I might be unlucky and not hit him as much. Sometimes I can do. But right here, I've done a crucial mistake. My finger not slipped, but confused the buttons. So instead of pressing B, I'm going to press V, which is my first jump. That's a mistake. So as soon as I realized my mistake, I just land down and just start going at it. Then while he dies and the cutscene plays, I'm just gonna get back to tank and whatnot and wait for the next level. And now we've reached Ascent, which is a really fun level as well, but I've messed up so much in this level. I think I've wasted about 10 seconds. But it's a really fun level to go through. So a concussion rifle force jump right here to land on the platform, killing those guys, making sure that I hit the switch so that this door opens, going up right here. Opening the switch right here, which is going to drop down an elevator. While it does, I'm deactivating a force field to reach that door. Then using that switch right here to go up, using a 1 frame concussion rifle force jump to reach that platform right here, using force speed to continue, and then at that moment a rare glitch occurred where there's the force speed will actually remove itself for no reason. So you see the force speed right here, and it's not there anymore. And I'm not exactly sure why it does that, but it only does that there and only a few times. And what it does, it pretty much messes up your tempo, and that's what happened to me. So I tried to go up that door right here, which I missed because of that. So I'm gonna miss it twice, and then I need to activate force speed again in order to continue. And this here is a very precise jump I'm about to do, which basically cost my runs a bunch of times trying to get that 25. So I was kind of glad though that on this attempt I've got on the first try, because I have to reach that corner right here and use crouch to reach that section and then go down right here. While the elevator goes up, I'm amassing health and shield because I need them to do a couple of force jumps. One is upcoming right here, another one right here, force jump there, and then very precise thing here. There's on the next part of the screen, there's going to be a section where I'm going to go against very strong winds that pushes me back, but since I have max force speed and I'm using strafe, I can actually go through it that way, which is pretty useful to be honest. But the doors are actually locked to do so if you actually don't cross this part of the level. So let's say you go that way and skip it and do that corner right here. It will not register and it will not open the doors. It's super weird, but just in case you have to go that specific way, it's going to load up the door trigger by doing so. So from there, I activate that here. I do a force jump. I wasn't sure about my timing right here, so I would just a little bit more than usual, and I was right to do so because I didn't hit the first frame concussion rifle force jump, so I only hit the second one, which didn't give me as much of a high boost. But since I waited, I was still fine to continue. So right there, I reused the force speed, and as you notice, normally there's the wind pushing me out, but since I'm using strafe with force speed, I can actually go through. I used the back though, just in case, because my health was actually kind of low. Activating the elevator here, and the switch right here for later on in the level, while the elevator goes down. And here I was actually greedy, because there's a way to railgun force jump yourself to the top, but it's kind of precise, and I didn't practice the timing as much, so I don't know why I went for that jump, but I barely missed it. So instead I just, like on the second try, I didn't even try it again, I just continued that way. Shooting there because normally there's a guard on the other side, so I want to kill him to make sure that he's not in the way. My force jump right here was actually pretty trash, so I hit my head on a bunch of stuff and I had to continue that way. But this is the end of the level with a plus 11 time on Ascent. Not especially ideal, but I knew that I could save time a little bit elsewhere. So into the valley, I normally have a really bad time here, so I hope that I was going to save a bunch of time here. But unfortunately, I don't think it was one of the good Into the Valleys that I've done. It was okay, to say the least, but I've done way better Into the Valley. So now, like, the level complexity is a bit complicated because you have to go down, get a switch that's going to open that door that we just passed beforehand. I missed that switch, but now that we opened that, then you have to go down because I activated another elevator. It's kind of weird how it works. But while the platform goes down right here, I have time to get a couple of weapons. So basically, I wasted no speed or no time because while it was going down, I did a couple of stuff. So I arrived exactly at the right moment. And right here, there's a weird behavior with that big block here, where when you use force speed and crouch, or not necessarily crouch, but when you use force speed, you can actually go through that block. But with a combination of crouch and really precise maneuvering, you can actually land at the bottom right there in order to continue your path. It's actually a quite precise trick. Like so. From there I go down. I need to activate 2 switches, this one and this one. I amassed sequencers on my way there, which are very important for the end of the game, so I really needed those. So right now I see my health is at 70, which is useful because I'm going to fall down from a specific height, and I need at least 65, I believe. But right there I hit the wall, which brought me back to 60. And believe it or not, it didn't make the cut. So I had to load back, use a Bacta, and then go down. And as you notice right here, my health is like at 33. So basic, like if we do the math, I would have survived. But this game blows. But yeah, I had to do it again, which cost me a couple of seconds. I use a boost right here with a concussion, killing that guy, making sure that he's not in the way. Using that switch so that the vent lets us go through. And then killing ourselves here so that our body falls into the grate that we just killed with our concussion rifle in order to finish the level. So it wasn't the best as we lost about a second, but it could have been way worse. Normally there's a way here to land here, then land on that platform here, and then land on this section here. It's quite precise, but unfortunately I missed it. So I had to go back right here using a thermal detonator to open my door. We fall down right here, there's a hole at the bottom, so we want to reach it as fast as possible. Making sure that we go in the doors. I'm not exactly the best about going to the doors smoothly, but I'm trying my best because I know it's one of my flaws basically in this game. So right now there's a door puzzle where you have to activate the switches in a certain order in order to afterwards be able to go through these sections yourself. You'll see what I mean by that. So I use this switch right there two times, then I use this one 2 times as well, and then this one we're going to use a couple of times actually, because this door is going to open, but you want to go through when you've closed it behind you, like so. And what that's going to do is that it's going to let you through right here, as you've seen. And now we're going to use our Force Lightning for the last time. So we're going to kill this big boy right here by using a combination of Sword Slash and Force Lightning. So now we use all our Force Lightning. A guy popped out of it, giving us the red key that's going to be used to open that door right here. And the level is over. And now, you see right now, right, that the value of the Jedi, I'm right now +9 over my PB, which basically means that if I was to be on the same pace as my PB, I would probably get a time of like 26:13. So how did I get a 25:57? I got lucky. So Bach and Jerec behave in a certain way where sometimes they can just kill your run by acting stupid. So Bach is one of them where he jumps around and does so much stupid stuff that it doesn't go exactly the way you want, and therefore you're not able to kill him the most optimal way, which is to use Force Throw to basically throw him a bunch of random stuff on the ground, just like we did with Ma, actually, if you remember earlier. But his behavior is quite finicky, and sometimes he can just kill your run, which is exactly what happened with the 2604 that I have right here. Jerec is kind of the same thing, where sometimes he just doesn't go where you need to be as fast as you would normally do. So yeah, you'll see what I mean by that. But we'll start with Bach right now. So what I would do is that I use force speed right here. Since I was +9, normally I wouldn't do that. Normally I would wait for him to come here, and he would jump over right here, and there's a chance that he doesn't fall in the hole by himself. So I need to like line myself with him so that he runs into me in the air and then falls down into the hole. But that's a little bit slower, so I just went for it and hope that he falls in the hole by himself, which is what he did, barely. And from there, I normally need to bring him exactly where I am so that it's a bit more consistent for him to jump under the door right here. But he was messing around a little bit here, but I got very lucky here because he was able to go through the door, and that doesn't happen often, so I was kind of happy when he did. And sometimes here he can just wait and jump like a dumbass for no reason. And then when he reaches right here, Sometimes here the force throw don't work as much, but this time it worked very fast. So I killed him instantly that way. And now we just have to wait for the level to be over. I was kind of glad that he did that. And right now we only 3 seconds under PB, but my PB had a very bad Jerec where I lost 10 seconds approximately. So basically, if Jerec behaves in the right way as well, I could PB and get a 25. So this is a very stressful moment because the game is basically controlling the fact that I'm gonna get a 25 or not. But I got lucky, so I got it. So now what we have to do is that this guy, we're going to kill him in a very peculiar way, where normally we would fight him directly. But if you remember, we amassed some sequencers earlier down. The sequencers are the mines that we use in the palace escape in order to jump over that huge building in order to trigger the cutscene for the end of the level, right? In that case, what we're going to do is that we're going to use as much of them to we're going to place them on the ground at a specific point where this guy is going to go in it and explode himself, killing him basically in one shot. So there's a very specific way to move here where I'm gonna move that way, and I don't want to go up here instantly, because if I do so, Jerec is going to get confused on where exactly you are and he's not going to follow you. So I have to wait a little bit by going a little bit wider here and then going up, then getting my sequencers, because if I get my sequencers earlier on, you can actually just remove them from my hand with force pull. So that sucks. So I try to get them as late as possible, then find myself a spot near that hole right here and start just putting it down and pray to RNGesus, because that's when Jerec can decide whether or not he wants your run to be good or not. And basically, if I see him go up here at approximately 6 or 5 sequencers left, that's a good sign, which is what happens here. I see that he comes up at 5, so I'm like, oh, there's a good chance. But then again, now it depends on my placement and how I've placed the sequencers, because Jerec, the way that he gets up, if you're too close to the opening or not close enough, he can behave in a way where he doesn't get hit by them, or at least not in the optimal way. So I need to make sure that as soon as he triggers it, I force jump and he gets killed by it, which is what happens. There you go. So as soon as I got that, I was like, cool, we got a 25. And I punch him for good measure. So that is my run, 25 minutes, 57 seconds. As you noticed in the beginning, this is clearly not the best that I could do, but I think it's a good goal for me to end up with on this category. I mean, I know that my sum of best is 24:33, but I really don't want to put myself through that grind. You notice that there's a lot of technical stuff to do. It's very tiring. It's very, like, it can get in your head, and there's a lot of RNG both at the beginning, the middle, and the end that can kill your run. So having one gone through 25 is enough for me to consider good and move on with maybe other speed games or other games, whatnot, you know. So there you go. Let me see. Is there something else I would like to add? Just to make sure that everything goes well. So yeah. So what I would say is, if you want to speedrun this game, or if you want to learn more about it, feel free to do so. There's a lot of different persons that I need to thank for this. The first person I guess I will thank is Piper, or Izalamiri. He's pretty much the person that's most known in the speedrunning community of this game. He has done a couple of AGDQs with the game, if I remember correctly, and he's quite the legend in our scene. So I'm quite glad that he was there. Since I started 8 years ago, like, he was there back then and giving me tips, and he's still there today giving me tips. So, and big shout outs to him. Special thanks as well to the rest of the community. You know, there's a bunch of people that doesn't play the game much anymore because they had a time that they're good with. Talking about Vrindra, Maxam, O Circles, which is the world record holder. This guy is absolutely insane, dude. Like, you got a 24-29. That's crazy to me. Like, I've played this game for countless hours, and I still have yet to understand how he was able to do it, you know? It's kind of crazy. And there's this guy called Still Floating, who was running the game at the same time as me during my comeback, so it was nice to see him go through that part as well, because when I entered, he had like a 26 something, and he had just gotten his first 25, so from there he tried to go lower and lower, and he finally got a 25-10, which is once again pretty amazing, so shout outs to him. It's pretty cool. If you want a link to the Discord, I'm gonna leave it at the top right here, so you'll be able to maybe click on them and maybe see for yourself if you want to speedrun that game, or maybe know a little bit more about it, because I think it's one of the most beautiful speed games I've ever done. Even though, as for the runner, I mean, for the runner it's pretty tiring, right? Because there's a lot of things to account for RNG wise and technical wise, but I think as something to watch, like, if you don't mind the fact that it's not a very popular game, if you appreciate the fact that it's fast, it's bonkers, and there's a lot of tricks, then I think it's definitely a game for you. And if you want to experience it for yourself, there's multiple ways. It's sold on Steam, it's sold on CDs or on GOG, and I'm not exactly sure exactly where else. And it's kind of hard to run as well, because you need a bunch of different programs, but if you follow tutorials online, you should be good to go, especially for Steam. So yeah, I urge you to experience that game for yourself if you're able to. As for myself, right now, I'm not exactly sure what it's for me. I'm probably going to go in hibernation mode. I do that sometimes, where, you know, I speedrun for about maybe 6 months, and then I take a break and I come back 6 months afterwards or something. This is probably going to be the time for that for me right now, because I'm gonna hit really important moments on my job, with my girlfriend. There's Christmas coming around. I just want to take a break for a while and come back maybe in spring of 2022 with a different game. I'm not exactly sure what. I have a list right here that I'm taking, you know, game names to maybe speedrun afterwards. We'll see. And I think I want to try something different. Maybe a more recent game. Like, to be fair, I have no clue what it's going to be, but the games I have in my list right now, which I'm not going to give you, right? You're going to have the surprise later on, but a bunch of them are like kind of recent, and you know, like in 16.9 and everything, so it's not exactly sure if I'm going to do that, but if I do, you know, we'll see. As for Diddy Kong Racing, you know, I'm still gonna play maybe from time to time, but I think my days of grinding the game is done. But I still love the community, I still love everyone. It's just, you know, that's how I work. I speedrun a game, I reach a goal, and then I move on, you know. And if I don't find another game that reaches my heart, like Diddy Kong Racing and Jedi Knight did in the past year, I just don't do it, you know, because it's not fun for me if I do so. So yeah, I guess thanks for watching. If you have any more questions, I recommend doing it in the comment sections below. If you want any tips, if you want any recommendations, I don't know, anything you want, man. You're having a bad day, just let me know and we'll chat it up. All right, so once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see each other soon.